The Galactic Military Academy's training hall fell silent as Cadet Riza stepped onto the sparring mat. At 19 standard years, she was small even by human standards, barely reaching 5.5 feet. But something in her movements made the other cadets unconsciously step back. Her dark hair was pulled into a practical ponytail, and her brown eyes swept the room with the same casual alertness that marked all humans from the death world called Earth. 4 against 1 seems excessive, muttered Anna, a Zeltharian cadet whose crystalline skin shimmered with nervous energy. She had grown fond of the human over their months of training together, despite the warnings from her homeworld about the terrifying species that had emerged from a planet of constant violence. Commander Vexitar, a towering Korthak with battle scars crisscrossing his chitinous hide, observed from the platform above. Cadet Riza has requested an escalated combat assessment. The Academy Council approved it given her unique background. The 4 challengers arranged themselves in a loose circle around Riza. There was Thok, a massive Brunite whose species was renowned for their strength across 3 sectors. His thick, stone-like skin could deflect plasma bolts, and his 4 arms each carried the power to crush steel. Beside him stood Kasara, a Nexian warrior caste whose ancestors had conquered 17 systems through superior speed and reflexes. Her elongated limbs moved like liquid mercury, and her species could strike faster than most beings could perceive. The 3rd challenger was Drakmor, a veteran from the militant Zorathi collective. His exoskeleton was augmented with combat implants, and his people had never lost a ground war in their 1,000-year history. The final opponent, Halvan, belonged to the psychic Mindari race, beings who could anticipate their enemies' moves through limited precognitive abilities. "This is madness," whispered another cadet in the gathered crowd. "Humans may be tough, but these 4 could take down a full squad of regular soldiers." Riza rolled her shoulders and cracked her knuckles, the small sounds echoing in the hushed hall like gunshots. She had grown tired of the whispered conversations, the wide berths her classmates gave her in corridors, the mixture of fear and fascination in their eyes whenever Earth was mentioned. Time to show them why humans didn't just survive on death worlds, they thrived on them. "Begin!" Commander Vexitar's voice boomed. The 4 warriors moved as one, their coordination perfect. Thok charged straight ahead, his massive frame designed to pin Riza while the others struck from the flanks. Kasara became a blur of motion, her strikes aimed with lethal precision. Drakmor's augmented systems calculated optimal attack vectors, and Halvan's mind reached out to predict the humans' defensive patterns. What happened next would be analyzed in Academy tactical courses for decades to come. Riza didn't move like the other species. Where they relied on raw strength, enhanced speed, or technological augmentation, she flowed like water around stone. Her movement seemed impossible, too fluid, too precise, too fast for her apparent physical limitations. But the Watchers forgot that Earth's gravity was nearly 3 times standard, that her homeworld's atmosphere was a toxic soup that would kill most species in minutes, and that humans had evolved not as apex predators, but as persistence hunters who could outlast anything. As Thok's massive fist descended, Riza was no longer there. She had slipped sideways, grabbed the Brunite's wrist, and used his own momentum to send his 400-pound frame crashing into the wall with a sound like a meteor strike. The impact left a crater in the reinforced barrier. Kasara's lightning-fast strikes found only empty air. The humans seemed to anticipate each blow, moving with an economy of motion that turned the Nexian speed against her. A precise elbow to a nerve cluster, and the warrior caste fighter crumpled, her enhanced reflexes useless against techniques honed by a species that fought for survival every day of their existence. Drakmor's combat system screamed warnings as their targeting algorithms failed to lock onto the human. She moved like chaos itself, unpredictable and devastating. His exoskeleton registered multiple impact points in rapid succession, pressure points his species' anatomy texts swore didn't exist in humanoid forms. He hit the ground hard, his augmented strength meaning nothing against precision strikes that targeted his nervous system directly. Halvan's psychic abilities, which had never failed him before, encountered something unprecedented. Human thoughts were different. Where other species had ordered, logical thought patterns, the human's mind was a storm of controlled violence, creative solutions, and an almost supernatural ability to adapt in real time. His precognitive flashes showed him a dozen possible futures, but in each one he was already falling. Riza's final move was almost gentle, a touch to the Mindari's temple that sent him into unconsciousness before he hit the ground. The entire encounter had lasted 3.7 seconds. The training hall erupted in chaos. Medics rushed to tend the fallen warriors, while cadets from dozens of species stared at the small human who stood calmly in the center of the mat, not even breathing hard. She wasn't showing off or celebrating. She looked almost sad, as if she had hoped for more of a challenge. "Impossible," breathed Commander Vextar. The combat computers didn't even register half of those moves. Anna approached her friend slowly, her crystalline features reflecting amazement and something approaching awe. "Riza, how?" The human cadet shrugged, helping Thok to his feet with surprising gentleness. The massive brunite stared at her with new respect, rubbing his head where it had impacted the wall. "My great-grandmother used to say that Earth doesn't make us strong," Riza explained quietly. "It makes us creative about staying alive. We learned to fight not because we were the biggest or the fastest, but because everything else on our world was." As the Academy's medical team finished their examinations, confirming that all 4 challengers would recover fully, word began to spread throughout the station. The human from the Deathworld, the small, quiet cadet who helped others with their studies and never started fights, had just redefined what it meant to be a warrior. In the days that followed, applications to serve alongside human units increased by 400%. The other species were beginning to understand why Earth's admission to the Galactic Federation had been such a significant event. Humans didn't just bring technology or resources to the Alliance. They brought something far more valuable, the knowledge that survival was an art form and they had spent millennia perfecting it. Riza never requested another escalated combat assessment. She didn't need to. The galaxy had taken notice and the legend of humanity's warriors had begun.